We've all been in that situation where it feels like you're doing everything right, but your team can't get a single kill. You might have 20k damage, and so does your tank for that matter, yet the enemy team absolutely stomps on you. You've probably yelled at your team, certain if your ult is focused a little you could get the win. But maybe that's not the issue. Perhaps your entire team, you included, are neglecting a crucial skill in shooter games, target prioritization. But don't worry, I'm going to explain to you who you should be shooting at, when you should be shooting at them, and why. First things first, what is target prioritization? Target prioritization in shooter games like Overwatch is simply deciding who is the most important target for you to be shooting at in the current moment. If you're playing support, this can also apply to who you should be healing. You have to pick the most important teammate or the person who needs your help the most and support them over anyone else. Whatever your role, you have to pick an order to who you're going to focus, but remember, whatever target you choose to prioritize can't be simplified into shoot this character or heal him over anyone else. The landscape of each match will affect who you prioritize, and who that is can change in an instant. I'll do my best to break down the different aspects of the game and explain the conditions you should look for to help you figure out the best enemy to focus. The first thing you should be looking for when deciding who you should shoot at is who the easiest person is to kill. And I do not mean who is the easiest to hit, I mean kill. Yes, you might hit every shot on the Reinhardt walking closer and closer to you, but that doesn't mean you should shoot at him. Imagine you're playing Cassidy, you can kill a nearby 200 health target with one headshot and one body shot. If you can literally kill someone with 2 bullets in less than a second, that is clearly going to be the correct person to shoot at. Tanks are usually not the best target since they have so much health, and supports often give them a disproportionate amount of attention, so keep an eye out for damage heroes that the supports are neglecting. The ease and speed at which you can kill someone is almost always going to be the determining factor when it comes to target prioritization. So how do you decide who the easiest person to kill is? The main thing you want to look for is enemies that are out of position away from cover and their team. This could be a flanker that gets too close, a Winston that jumps in without an escape plan, anyone who can't quickly retreat back to safety. A lot of the time, the easiest person to kill is just the person closest to you, but that's not always the case. You want to make sure you're attacking the targets that you can get a confirmed kill on, because dealing tons of damage means nothing if it doesn't amount to any kills. Many times, people will get too aggressive and overextend, and you need to punish that. This leads directly into my next point. Don't be afraid to switch targets. There are plenty of moments when you should absolutely stop whatever you're doing and start shooting someone else. Tunnel vision is a very bad thing. Do not lock yourself into trying to finish one guy when other enemies make themselves available to you. It's fine to shoot the Orisa while she's the only one in your line of sight, but once her team falls in behind her, look for a kill on someone with a little less health. One of the biggest reasons it can be tough to finish a kill is because you're trying to finish the wrong person. For example, a lot of Brigittas think they're Reinhardts and will push way too close, so stop shooting the tank she's with and focus on her. You've heard, and probably said, stop shooting at the tank, which often leads to massive amounts of damage without actually getting any kills, and that's usually right. Typically tanks should not be first on the hit list, but there are exceptions I'll get into in a moment. One of the other factors that will influence your preferred targets will be the heroes that you're playing. Let me give you a dramatic example. You're playing Widowmaker. The enemy team has a Winston. Very rarely will you want to be shooting at the Winston. There's just no reason to. When there's a tank who can get healed in between your shots, you're pretty much wasting your time. Instead, as a Widow, you should be shooting at, say, the supports or the enemy snipers. But what if you're playing a Reaper, and the enemy team still has a Monkey? When the Monkey jumps on you and your team, there's no reason not to shoot at him. Reaper has high damage shotguns, so he can kill Winston super fast. Plus, he might be the only target in range, and there's no way you're going to get back and kill a Hanzo or something when a Monkey's right there. Your choice of heroes will matter, and this goes back to what I said earlier about shooting the easiest person to kill. Different heroes have different strengths, and therefore different optimal targets. Now, there are some situations in Overwatch where maybe you should put more effort into attacking a certain hero, even if it may be more difficult to kill them. For example, you might want to focus down a diva that's been knocked out of mech to make sure she can't get it back, or the Zenyatta to try to bait him into using Transcendence. This is something that has likely crossed your mind if you've played Genji and used your ultimate. Once a Genji uses his blade, he has to decide who he's going to try to kill. You can take two approaches here. You can go for someone like Soldier who can't really get away from you, or you can go for the biggest threat to you. In the case of a Nano Blade, many Genjis make the decision to go for the enemy Ana, because she's your biggest threat. But if the Genji can kill her, then there's no more Sleep Dart or Anti-Nade to ruin the rest of your ult. This mindset can be applied to most team fights in Overwatch. Usually you still want to go for the easiest kill, but if there's an imminent threat to you or your team, it can be better to try to eliminate the threat before continuing your murder spree. Pretty much everything I've said so far can be applied to any role and any hero, but briefly I want to talk specifically to supports. Supports also have to employ target prioritization when healing your team, and I'll give you some examples. Mercy currently heals 45 health per second, but to allies under half health, she heals 67.5 health per second. This means that you're maximizing your value when healing allies that are below half health, and for the most part, you can leave the top off to the other support. Also, just like when attacking, you want to look for the easiest target to kill, when healing, you want to look for your teammate that's in the most danger. I see too many supports trying to keep their tank at full health while their DPS are missing 50 or 60 health. 50 health is way more important for a low health hero than for a tank with hundreds and hundreds, so be aware of which teammates are in the most relative danger. I want to clarify something. I'm not saying wait for the perfect moment to shoot the perfect target. You should always be shooting at someone given the opportunity. Don't come away from this video worried that you're going to mess everything up if you aren't careful, or that all you have to do is run some quick calculations in your brain and you'll know what to do. You might have noticed that throughout this video I use words like probably and almost always quite a bit. Target prioritization is one of the hardest skills to master across all games, and it takes time. It's not like math, there's never one right or wrong option. Every situation is different and it's up to you to decide what to do, and you just have to make the best choice you can. Hopefully you can walk away from this video paying a little more attention to who you're firing at, and if you found it helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Just kidding, I'm not monetized. You should still do it though.